Rejoice! Jerusalem is a place of consolation, that you may be suckled, filled from her consoling breast, that you may savour with delight her glorious breasts. Now, towards her I send flowing peace, like a river, and like a stream in spate, the glory of the nations. Every consecrated church is the Yerushalayim vision of peace. Every monastery should be the same. Every hermitage and place where the Blessed Sacrament is should be an oasis, extraterritorial, where heaven may console. Over the years, one cannot but see how that in some way exists and some way is taken away in one place or another by things which inquinate, contaminate the air. In school days, we had in the Catholic Society a retreat organised one Lent in an abbey on an island in South Wales. It was very moving, and I was to spend a while in community that following Easter break. It was again moving, but there was an element of disturbance. It was the fact that they had brought in a television which could be heard in the chapter room on a Sunday afternoon. That would explain partly, eventually, spending the following summer at La Trappe. And there, in the Mother House of the Reform, there was definitely a huge unbroken peace, and the silence was well kept. Years later, a television found itself also in that community. Although very well controlled, it was there. It was only used for things recorded and filtered, and not every Sunday, but it was coming in every other Sunday in the afternoon, and again it was in the chapter house, and that is in the heart and the centre of the enclosure, and it could be heard, and it made a difference. And it also brought in an invasion of the mind with impulses stronger than Lectio Divina gives, which wasn't good for the soul. And the arguments used for the presence of such an instrument are very human at times. Multiply that by Christians throughout the world, who by now have not only television, but internet and addiction thereunto, available all the time, then the vision of peace is far removed. In Ireland we still have churches open all over the place, and one can go in and breathe in the stillness. On the continent and in some places, one does find that the itch to put on background music is sometimes in open churches. One can question that, because one is obliged to think about somebody else's thoughts and not about Jesus in the tabernacle, if there's something like that in the air. But the blessing of an open church where the Blessed Sacrament is, and where there is no human presence, is not to be discarded, for there many things can happen. And one forgets also the availability of the great temple of nature. And it can be indeed a vision of peace. Experts tell us that the most reposing colour for the eyes is actually green. The Lord has made well the universe, and the first temple available to all is that of nature. And yet some will take with them in their ears some noise. They cannot bear nature. They cannot bear emptiness. They cannot be still, and therefore cannot bear stillness. Where is Jerusalem? Multiply that by a week, a month, a year, and one has a lifetime without stillness. Where is Jerusalem? We notice that the Lord, when he sends out his disciples, instructs them on depending on providence, and therefore an absence of complication in the mind, freedom, so that he may have their time and attention, and the people of God may be served directly. But he does also indicate how to greet people, a house, a town. It's actually still there in the visitation of the sick to this day. Peace to this house, the Lord will dwell in it. And he does go on to say that if the exact Hebrew is a son of peace, Bar Shalom, is there, then peace will descend upon him. If not, it will return to you. It will return surely in blessing to the person acting in the name of Christ but rejected. But what of the soul that doesn't want the vision of peace? That soul also must face eternity. And if it has not known peace here, will it ever know peace ever? Eternity without peace means spending it with those who are not peaceful, and the unpeaceful source of unpeace that wants our company forevermore. And therefore, if we are orientated towards unpeace and noise, we show who we resemble and who we would be happy to be with. And if in our day we see ugliness reigning, if we see ugly ways of living being normalized, then the ugly reigns, and we know what his name